Greetings, fellow tralalas. Tiki here,
And Blue Dragon 5.
and welcome to the Main Street Cinema, the show where we discuss the finer points of filmmaking. Blue Dragon 5, Main Street Cinema, like we said, finer points of filmmaking. What film could be of a higher class and more sophisticated than that of Captain Underpants?
Not many. Not many.
So, of course, we're here to break down the Captain Underpants trailer, the first epic movie.
I've been waiting for this trailer.
I know, DreamWorks has been sitting on it for a while.
Boy, do they need it now.
Of course, Captain Underpants, starring Ed Helms and Kevin Hart. Two names that,
Yes.
I don't know. Kevin Hart's fine. Ed Helms is fine. They're not like my go-to choices for anything, but we'll see how they do here. Dragon, we're going to save our personal nostalgia for Captain Underpants for when we talk about the movie, but I can say, Dragon, just to kind of hint at the personal nostalgia, Captain Underpants is almost as synonymous with those famous book fairs that we love to go on and on about as something like Goosebumps is.
Oh yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say about it. Like, Captain Underpants was like the king of the book fair.
Without going too far, let me just say, I think for me, probably, while a lot of people had Goosebumps, I had Captain Underpants, so I guess it's kind of
I had both.
Well, some of us had to pick, Tiki.
All right.
Some of us had to pick.
My parents were like actually middle class in the 90s.
Well, before we can, again, I believe I can go into stories like what brought us to Captain Underpants.
Sure
we'll save
could.
that for
when
when the day comes. The point is, we've been looking forward to this trailer and just kind of this movie in general. It's kind of
great.
So, well, here's what we.
Just really quick, Dragon, I just want to kind of talk about the nature of the books. I think the great thing about the books is kind of like the fourth wall breaking aspect of it, kind of like the whole idea of like you're reading these kids' comic book, you're reading this kid's story, and it kind of melds the idea of like a kid telling a story with something that's actually going on in their life, and I think it's very creative and high concept in that regard. And I definitely think the movie's trying to replicate that same sort of style. And dare I say, Captain Underpants might be one of the first fourth wall breaks that we as kids are introduced to, at least people who grew up with the books.
That's possible, yes.
Okay.
So,
anyways.
Really, we only know two things about this one. They kept this one remarkably under wraps, I gotta say.
Right?
Because I remember one day, just, maybe years ago, I don't really know how many, but I mean, I know that for a time, basically, I've seen Captain Underpants in kind of like the future DreamWorks films, like before it had a date or anything. I was surprised they had the property.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I've learned, is looked this up recently, that it seems like they've had the rights to Captain Underpants for quite some time, even before I found that. So,
this has been in development for, I would say this idea for a Captain Underpants movie, at least 10 years in the making, at least. Under DreamWorks.
Yeah, like reportedly it's been there since they've had the rights to this, or at least they've been after it since Captain Underpants first came out.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So there's been one notable development of late with Captain Underpants. That should be noted. I guess we should give our thoughts on this. Is that they've changed directors. So initially, the director attached. Remember, you and I were talking about at a certain point. The announced director who. I know we've talked about the director before because he's directed other things we talked about. Rob Letterman, director of the Goosebumps live action film and some lesser renowned DreamWorks films like Shark Tale.
Oh boy! Oh god!
So again, I remember you and I when we talked about Rob Letterman during the Goosebumps thing, we pointed out he's had kind of a hit or miss career.
Sure.
And it's kind of a similar thing. It's interesting how
Goosebumps isn't like an amazing movie or anything. It's just really fun fan service.
Yeah, it's interesting how much like Pixar, DreamWorks, they kind of bump up their deep cuts guys, and they they eventually make their way to a director or like higher up the ranks. DreamWorks case, it's a little more obscure versus with Pixar. That's kind of the main difference. We can see when DreamWorks guys get bumped I'm not saying that it's a superiority thing. I'm just saying it's a notable.
No, it's a superiority thing. I can say it's a superiority thing.
Well, I'm just saying. Again, I think we get to know the guys at Pixar a lot more than we do the guys at DreamWorks.
Yeah, and there's a reason
That's
people know
kind of
the guys at Pixar more than people at DreamWorks.
Now, again, let's not just poo-poo the guys at DreamWorks. They're hard workers.
I'm sorry, you're right.
There are
right.
like Walt Dorn's a really good story man. Of course, Walt Dorn's gone many places, and eventually, of course, he voiced and created a character in Shrek 4. So
I could make a mean joke about that, but I won't.
Anyway, so let's definitely not make mean jokes about Walt Dorn, Tiki.
Okay.
So anyway, so again, we've the development is Rod Lerman for the longest time was attached to Captain Underpants, and now we have another DreamWorks. Someone who's working with DreamWorks taking on the director's chair. David Soren. David Soren directed Turbo. He was a story man on Shrek, and he directed something you and I have talked about. He did Merry Madagascar, the Christmas special.
Okay, nice. That was okay. That was fun.
So yeah, the point is that they all have experience working. With
I haven't seen Turbo but from what I've heard, like it's not great, but it's at least better than the premise gives it credit for.
Yes, I have seen it. Tig, I can vouch for that. That's
okay.
Accurate. Again, it's Turbo. It's good voice acting, good performances. It's just it's not. It's not the most amazing story, but it's fun. It's harmless, but it's
at least no one directing this movie directed home.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that matters, right?
That's a bullet dodge. The bullet got home.
A bullet dodge that Bates Motel hit.
Yeah. Sorry,
Captain Underpants got out of the way, and then Carlton Cuse just gets hit right in the chest. Previously on Bates Motel. Oh, I've been shot.
Gary. Bruce on Bates Motel. It got me. I see a light. I see a musical light.
Okay.
Anyway,
we're gonna have a lot of fun talking about Carlton Cuse on Bates Motel.
We're getting depressed on home, so let's move on to happier stuff. So let's go through the thing.
Okay, so I love the way it starts with the principal just looking super angry, breathing down the kid's neck. The the ticking of the clock. It's all very much is reminiscent of your time in elementary school, and when the principal would be like the biggest monster in your life, like the biggest supervillain in your life.
Yeah, and also we should comment on the stylistic, on the style of the film, because we weren't quite sure. We assumed it's going to be computer generated, of course, but I'm saying there was also. I mean, if DreamWorks wanted to be really gutsy, they might have done it 2D. But anyway, the point is, the style seems very reminiscent of what the Peanuts did recently. I know not by the same company. I'm just saying maybe taking a few cues from what the Peanuts did.
I mean, I don't just from the look of it, it's not really as refined as the Peanuts was. Because I feel like the Peanuts just did a very, very, very unique style that was all their own thing. But you're right; they could be taking some cues.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Peanuts has to be very, very specific to that style. This one is they're just it's kind of a rounded, kind of three-dimensional. I call it the three-dimensional 3D faithful style. So they're trying to be faithful to Captain Underpants as much as they can, as much through the 2D style, but it's a rounded 3D version of that.
Yeah, and I could definitely say, it does very much feel like the characters that we've grown up with, for sure. There's there's not really a ton that's changed in the translation.
Yeah, this is George and Harold right off the page.
Yep.
I'm impressed by it. Again, they're very faithful in bringing it to life, I got to say.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I think right here, this is what really won me over in the trailer. Well, I thought the Ferris Bueller kind of "Oh Yeah" music was a very smart choice, because again it kind of summarizes the kind of these two in a nutshell. They're the cool Ferris Bueller types in the school.
Yeah, and they really did. Of course, they stuck out in the original books as well. They work really well as kind of like fourth wall breaking narrators.
Again, maybe a targeted choice with the whole Ferris Bueller kind of fourth wall breaking. Thing.
I love how you can see the hand-drawn Captain Underpants comics in the shot.
Yep. Then, of course, a lot of Dave Pilkey influence, of course. That would be very strange if Dave Pilkey was not involved in this in some capacity.
Right.
And of course, we have kind of the. It's really one of the great things about Captain Underpants that seem to be representing really well, especially in this scene, is the whole like just these two kids create a comic together, and it's like such kind of an inventive like little. Oh, okay, these two kids like we have the big industries and the big industries and institutions we have of characters in comics these days. Of course, they started off really small, like Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, of course, like just two
Sure,
kids just
sure.
doing comics.
And that's definitely, I feel like, we'll break it down more as we talk about the movie more, but that was definitely one of the things that struck a chord for me when I was a kid, is just the idea that Captain Underpants is really just a side thing, and really the whole book is more about the idea of the kids drawing the comic book than it is about the actual title character.
Yeah. So, by the way, let's discuss our voice cast for a moment.
Okay.
So, we got Principal Krupp slash, well, eventually you'll see Captain Underpants. He's played by Ed Helms, of course. And again, I've always had Lewis Black in mind for Captain Underpants. Like I say, Ed Helms, I think Ed Helms is a strong choice. I think he's good.
I think Lewis
decent.
Black would get the Crump side of him down. I think Ed Helms is going to shine in the Captain Underpants side of the performance.
Yeah. And for those just raising an eyebrow at Lewis Black, let me explain just for a mere moment. Again, Lewis Black, because he does this great kind of sardonic kind of voice. He does like the fake happy voice, and I thought the fake happy voice would be perfect.
Oh, that's right. The fake. Yeah, you're right. There is the fake happy voice.
That's what I'm saying. So I think that would be like the great juxtaposition. That's why I always had Lewis Black in mind. Like he'd be like the really grumpy, Principal Krupp, but then like the whole tra la la. It would be like it'd be hysterical. But regardless, I think Ed Helms still is a really strong choice because of that juxtaposition. Because he's playing Krupp so over the top in this upcoming scene when he's chastising the boys here, but still he's playing like the tra-la-la, like right on the money.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I think Helms is a strong choice. I love. I really do like Kevin Hart as George. By the way, I think it's a good choice.
It's fine. Kevin Hart is just one of those people who's really overexposed to me at the moment. So
I'm just saying, I think he fits the mold for George of all characters.
He does fit the mold. He's fine. I'm not like it's not going to ruin the movie for me or anything. Certainly not. It's just okay, here we go. Oh my god.
We have oh yes. Great. And there's a little bit of freeze frame too. And basically, it's kind of fun with the Ferris Bueller thing. It seems like they're kind of playing Krupp like Ed Rooney from Ferris Bueller's Day Off a little.
Right. I can see that. But you're right. This is like a good freeze frame in the middle of the trailer.
Yeah. And basically what this trailer is doing, I think, is kind of a solid kind of combination of premise as well as kind of just kind of a little bit of superhero satire in there, which is basically what Captain Underpants that kind of satirized kind of the big superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
Bear in mind, that was in the day before they were made movies left and right about them. So
of course.
Now they have that to play with a little bit here, especially again. There's a really great joke at the end of this. So I've also pieced together from this trailer. I know what kind of story, how they're unfolding their story. So they're combining at least three major elements from three Captain Underpants books. So the majority of it is the first book, The Origin of Captain Underpants. Basically the Adventures of Captain Underpants. And as we see later on, and also introduced in this scene, we have the turbo toilets. And namely, Turbo Toilet 2000 is the giant, awesome-looking toilet at the end. Because I love that design. I remember drawing the Captain Underpants stuff.
Oh, this is just bringing me back, Dragon. This is just bringing me back.
So basically, it seems it's either a main combination of these three, or we're going to have like a bunch of homages to various things from the books, but the crux of the origin piece. So basically, the origin, Turbo Toilet 2000, which is books 1 and 2, and book 4, which was about Professor Poopy Pants.
Oh, God. Oh, man.
It was voiced by Nick Kroll.
Nick Kroll, yeah.
So, of course, right here, this is what I'm loving the Ed Helms casting here, was just kind of playing it over the top. Because I got to tell you, here's something they're doing that I like better here than I did reflecting on in the book. I can't really say. It's been years since I've read the Captain Underpants books. But I was just refreshing myself. In the original story, Tiki, Crump was much more sadistic and real-world scary.
No, I mean...
Because he blackmailed these kids into, washing his car and stuff, because he had, them on tape.
It's been so long, Dragon. I'll have to like go back and maybe see if I can read some of those on Kindle or something like that before
As I'm
this movie
saying, man, that
comes
sounds
out.
kind of twisted, doesn't it?
Yeah, it
And he was
does.
blackmailing these kids. Here, this is like a much more over the top, hilarious thing of like he's like an evil plan. He's gloating over, and I'll put you in different classes.
Which I was actually in a position like that in elementary school where I had a best friend and like we wouldn't cause pranks or anything like that, but we would kind of like distract each other. And there were times where it's like, hey, we should separate you two. We should put you two in different classes. How would you like that? Okay, wait, hold on. I have to go back to that because this is actually the one moment in the trailer where I'm not a big fan of. Ah, shoot.
What, you don't like the tiger joke?
I don't like the tiger joke.
Well, you know what that might be a barb ad. I'm just throwing it out there. What if that's that Barb with the Lion movie?
At the what movie?
The is it just called Lion or the Oscar nominated one? Lion.
Why would it be a Barbet lion?
I say I know it's not a lion. I get that. I'm saying I think just because it looks really fake in that shot. I think that's what.
If anything, I think it's a Barbet Uncle Grandpa.
I think that's fair. I think I'm not quite certain. I'm just saying. Are you saying the tiger looks really fake and that's why you're not liking it?
Yes, I'm saying that. Well, I'm saying it reminds me of Uncle Grandpa, and that's why I'm not liking it.
I don't watch Uncle Grandpa, so again, I can't really weigh in on
Well,
that.
literally,
Entirely.
one of the characters in Uncle Grandpa is just called photorealistic tiger, and they don't. It's not
Okay.
a twist on the character. It's actually a photorealistic tiger. But anyways,
Okay, but I think the main point is that they're commenting on, oh yeah, well we're not copying to this, but yeah, it would be amazing. How would someone do an awesome prank like that? This is just infuriating Krupp here.
sure.
These kids are animated so happy and so buddy. It's so infectious. It's kind of like a Lethal Weapon when they're kind of palling around the office kind of vibe with these kids.
I can see that. Yeah.
And this is great. Them in the Hawaiian shirts walking them a little bit. Here we go. This is where Krupp's just going on about his evil, very rational plan of like separating these kids. But he's animated like such a madman.
Right.
Because again, Krupp's absolutely in the
Like
right
that,
here.
like that.
Because that's what's fascinating. Again, Krupp's actually in the right here versus in the book. In the book, he was sadistic, but here he's actually kind of in the right, but he's still just so over the top.
Oh my god. I mean, we don't know. There could be nefarious things that he does in the movie that just don't show up in the trailer. So
That's fair.
we'll have to wait and see.
Okay. And of course, this is directly from the origin, folks. They use like a little hip,
of course.
To I think it's of course it's a little more stylized here than it was in the book, but because again, Pilka can only draw so much.
Mm-hmm.
But this is great. It's using the hypno ring to kind of make their principal kind of subject to their whim, which will in turn be Captain Underpants. And again, I think it's a good, premise and take on the superhero kind of satire here. It's like all this kind of the premise here is in the trailer.
Yeah. And of course, hearing the tra-la-la dragon, that's kind of like a my childhood is complete kind of moment right there.
Honestly, for me, it's as silly as it sounds. It's the polka dotted curtain cape.
No, I mean just all of that, man. It just all comes together really well here.
For years, I've been waiting to see what this would look like. And just when someone here's the thing, maybe for as many years as I've seen, like it's been like Dreamers had the right, so I've always been curious, like how would it look like when fully realized? And this is it. This is as faithful as you can get to it. We've had Deadpool head to toe in the red suit, so I mean this is as faithful as you can get these days.
Okay, so I think most of the movie is just going to be the two kids like babysitting Captain Underpants, for lack of a better
And
word.
again, all this from the first book, just them realizing, oh my god, he could actually get hurt out here. We got to make sure he doesn't
Of course.
anything too reckless. But I think we're gonna get a villain plot thrown in there, so I hope that doesn't come too off the rails. That's gonna be I think it's only plot worthy of this film. If we're mixing kind of the Captain Underpants origin with like a villain, so it's like telling two stories at once.
I'm guessing the villain's gonna come at like either the because he is going to be the substitute teacher. Although, wait, that wouldn't make sense because my theory was going to be he'd show up when the principal goes missing as Captain
No,
Underpants.
he's a
Yeah.
teacher. So, but
I'm sorry, the principal is not the teacher. Two different things. I'm
right.
sorry.
Let me say there was something was about. Oh, right, here's the thing. So Tiki, what they did is they substituted the villain from the first book for Professor Poopy Pants. It seems.
Okay.
So that seems to be the crux of what they're doing because they had a really kind of bizarre villain in the first one, and basically, Poopy Pants is one of the really memorable, cool-looking villains.
Sure.
For me, I always loved the Wedgie woman. I thought the Wedgie woman was really funny because she had like these. Remember that she had the Medusa hair?
Yes. I'll second the Wedgie woman. Yes.
Yeah, that was one of my. I think it might be still my favorite of the books that I read.
Sequel, perhaps.
It looks like they introduced her in this, so again, they're setting it up. Not the character. I'm just saying, like, the alter ego, because basically the teachers and hold on that shot.
Okay.
So you have, like, the teachers and everything like eventually become characters. Like Melvin's in this movie. Speaking of Melvin, Melvin is played by one of those talented Key and Peele kids. We got Jordan Peele.
Oh, okay.
As Melvin. Yeah, not the Keegan Michael Key's. Honestly, out of the two of them, I think I like Keegan Michael Key better because I see him in more things. But still, Jordan Peele he's rather talented. As well.
I think here's the thing about Key and Peele. I think Keegan Michael Key has the better comedic timing. Not to say that Jordan Peele's timing is bad or anything.
I think Peele's more writing than Key is. That's what I think.
Exactly, and I think Peele is he's more talented behind the camera. I think he's got the bigger vision. And whereas Key is just like really, really magnetic and entertaining.
Yeah, it strikes me Peele is impressions and writing. That's I think it's Peele's because of course he's done impressions of Carl Winslow excellently, Carl Winslow and I believe of course Obama in the Obama sketch.
Sure. I mean down the line, yeah, but
yeah. Well, sure.
I mean, I know that horror isn't your thing, man, but Get Out is a freaking fantastic directorial debut for Jordan Peele.
Yeah, I've heard things. Anyway, let's see. So this shot here, I think, says a lot, and I'm really happy with this shot here. This gag, so they are addressing the ridiculousness of Captain Underpants, where people are freaking out when they're the
right.
I just love that she's pushing the button like crazy to get it off this thing. Obviously, it's moving, so it's not going to happen. So it's a perfect shot. This is like the superhero sat there. Like right now, just look at how committed the captain is here. He's like the Christopher Reeve Superman. He's racing towards the helicopter to save Lois Lane in his mind.
You will believe a man can believe he can fly.
Yeah, you will believe a man can wear tighty whities and fight crime. But speaking of which, now one of the things I'm really excited with this movie, though, that's really been put forward in this trailer is basically they're playing Captain Underpants like diluted Buzz Lightyear, and I really love that.
You're right.
It's like diluted Buzz from Toy Story 2. Remember when he thinks he's the real Space Ranger? In this case, it's a character who thinks he's a superhero when in reality he's not, and these two kids have to rein him in.
Yeah, I love the idea of the kids having to rein in the principal, and the principal kind of like getting more and more goofy as the movie goes on.
Exactly. I think the mime gag solidifies the diluted Buzz quality I'm really liking here, because that's like the whole, again, in his mind, he thinks he's Christopher Reeve Superman.
And this as well.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm weakening him.
Yep. It's like, help me prop up Vegetable Man or we're done for. It's that sort of gag.
Okay, and here's
there we go. Yep. Oh, I wonder. Here's the thing I'm really curious about. In Professor Poop Pants, one of the best things, and this is most fourth wall equality, is that he had the giant board full of like nicknames, and basically if you put in your initials, you get a funny nickname.
Kind of, yes.
And it's like in the page, like you go through the alphabet and you figure it out. So there's like a key in the book for the people to figure. I wonder if he's going to assign people all the nicknames. Like,
oh god,
that'd be fun. I mean, all these kids are in fourth grade, and all these equations seem rather difficult.
Right.
Professor P.
Oh god.
Now, of course, here we. Oh, I love this. I've always loved this design team. I've always loved Turbo Toilet 2000. Because I love it. It has like the spikes in there. But y'all notice this. It's modernized. And I thought this was such a cool touch. They modernized the eyes. They gave it kind of like kind of a digital, like kind of Eve from Wall-E kind of digital eye output thing here, which is really cool.
This might be my favorite moment from the whole trailer. Just because I really like how it melds the two Ed Helms personalities that we get.
Yeah, because the idea here, I believe, is that Captain Underpants is pretending to be Krull
Oh,
here.
which is wonderful. Which is wonderful.
And of course, we have just. I'm surprised we haven't made a. Oh, well, we already did make a Bates Motel joke, but of course, here's another Bates
Oh
Motel joke.
God.
Again, just
Okay.
personalities.
Okay. Yeah, we made a
You know,
wonderful, very elaborate Bates Motel joke at Carlton Cuse' expense. Poor Carlton Cuse. Anyways, go ahead.
if Carlton Cuse is listening, I just want to make it clear that was my associate. My associate's the one with the. My esteemed associate here is the one who does the Carlton Cuse impression, and any dissatisfaction that should be directed to him.
Okay.
I want to make that clear. But yeah, I'm just saying that the whole like, a personality pretending to be another personality is right out of the Bates Motel
Oh
playbook.
God. Yeah.
That's what we're missing on Bates Motel season. We gotta see Norman pretend to be be but not actually,
man.
not be convinced that he's Norm. They have to pretend to be Norma.
Oh man. Oh God.
Or again, somehow, we're not gonna get this now, but can you imagine if Vera Farmiga had to play Freddie Highmore? She'd be able to do it though. She's that good.
It could happen. It could happen.
Okay, and she put on a British accent, it'd be hilarious.
Oh, God.
That'll be awesome. Okay, anyway, so as the thing goes on.
Well, I mean, she wouldn't put on a British accent because.
No, not that. I'm saying her play. I'm saying just in another thing, she would play Freddie Highmore.
Oh, now you kind of lost me, but what? It's fine. Yeah, totally. He's got it.
I love that shot of, like attaching Captain Underpants to a giant, ping pong, the giant paddle ball thing.
I'm sorry, all these shots go by so fast. It's hard to get a good freeze frame on it, but
I love the joke that's made about these shots.
I do too. Oh my God! It's so fast. It's so fast. I can't freeze frame.
Tra-la-la.
You really get a sense of the scope with how it's all cut together.
I know. I love the editing joke. It's great. Again, that's a little commentary on the superhero movies,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And just kind of trailer editing in general. But yeah,
true. Yes. But yeah, it's also really well cut too. Just the intensity. Like, oh man, that seems really cool.
It is. It is. Okay.
And again, here's the kind of the mime joke that again is kind of a. It's kind of a fun, little again diluted Buzz-esque bit.
Right.
Again, he thinks he's helping someone, but he's actually punching a mime.
All right, so Dragon, as much as I'd like to see DreamWorks get back to the whole I'm sorry, not Kung Fu Panda. I still need to see those movies.
Well, here's what they're doing, Tiki. Next, nothing in 2018, but 2019, first on the docket's How to Train Your Dragon.
Good.
And again, that's reported. So again, they changed that last time. So I'm just saying that let's hope they stick to this plan.
Because this is basically my final thoughts on Captain Underpants. Like, DreamWorks, as far as I'm concerned, DreamWorks might as well just be like the How to Train Your Dragon factory for all intents and purposes. Because those are it's really the only franchise I care about at this point. Dragon, I know, like, if they made another Megamind, I'd be excited on your end. I'd rewatch my Megamind. I'd get excited for you.
I'd love to see another Megamind. Or
short of another Megamind, I like really How to Train Your Dragon. It's where it's at. How to Train Your Dragon is DreamWorks bread and butter at this point. And what I think How to Train Your Dragon does so well is the pathos of it. And Captain Underpants is the direct opposite of pathos. It is like the antithesis to pathos. And for that reason, I think this film could fit in really well into the DreamWorks library to kind of like, the taste, the appetizer of good DreamWorks we get before How to Train Your Dragon 3, which hopefully will be as amazing as it has all the potential to be, is this ridiculous, silly, fourth wall breaking, thing from our childhood, got a lot of nostalgia attached to it. So I think this is a really good move by DreamWorks.
In all honesty, I mean, again, it's going to be kind of a bizarre comparison, but they could be DreamWorks' Deadpool franchise if they play it right. It could be. I say that in terms of it's light, it's fourth wall breaking, but it'd be something. It'd be like the antithesis to Deadpool, though. And it's kid friendly, but again, has many books you can adapt. Again, you get a lot of range with Captain Underpants.
I love it. But yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think if anything else, this film is definitely suited to be a franchise for sure. I could totally see it. Actually, I'll save that for the end. But any final thoughts on your end, Dragon?
I did have a hilarious parody in mind.
Okay.
imagine like an SNL thing or something about this. Like, what if Chris Evans showed up in the role
Oh
for
God.
Captain It's basically to the wrong set. It's just, well, what is this? Basically, it's like, no, Chris, you're playing Captain America.
Oh
Oh,
God.
Captain
It's like
Underpants.
Chris Evans is just like,
He's in the red cape and everything. Like the women are swooning. He's like,
yeah,
oh,
of course.
all right, wrong move. Sorry, folks. He has like a bald cap on or something. He's just
All right.
anyway. No. Seriously, again, I'm very much looking forward to this film. Again, I get nostalgic ties to Captain Underpants as well. I'm sure a bunch of friends of mine we're gonna really get a kick out of seeing this. Good or bad, it's gonna be good to see it on screen again. At least visually, it looks very dazzling, very faithful. So it's gonna be an experience. I'm looking forward to.
Okay. And folks, I'm going to leave DreamWorks studio executives with some advice, courtesy of the great Michael Keaton. Franchise the thing. Franchise, franchise, franchise.